Hello, my cat loving friends. You are listening to 19 Cats and Counting. I am co host Linda Hall, and I have been
Stop.
dying.
Stop. Look at our banners. Cat Behavior Alliance. Marco kill us.
Shit.
Okay.
Shit.
I'll have to cut out the beginning.
Rename. I'm glad you thought of it because he would have killed us.
Yeah.
19 cats.
We have a dual personality.
Counting. Yeah, I can't keep up with it all. Okay.
Hold on, I'm almost there.
Oh, he would have killed us. Yeah.
Okay.
All
Ready?
right. Ready? Okay. Hello, my cat loving friends. This is 19 Cats and Counting. I am co host Linda Hall, and I have been biting at the bit for today to come because we are interviewing Kara from Pet's Eye View, and she is an animal communicator. I don't know a lot about it. But I want to know more, and everything she's told me is very intriguing. So you don't want to miss this. We will be right back after this word from our sponsor. Welcome back to 19 Cats and Counting. You are with Linda Hall and my gorgeous BFF, Rita Reimers.
What do you want? You're buttering me up for something.
I'll tell you later. But
okay.
Anyway,
I have Dexter with me too. Those
You
of
have
you who see the
Dexter with
video.
you?
He's right here.
I am dying to find out more about animal
I
communicators,
know.
what the differences are, what they can do for our cats. This is an area we don't know much about.
Yeah.
So,
I thought they were all like lumped together in one category, but it turns out they're not. There's
not
differences.
Not at all. So
Let's talk to
grab
Kara.
in here. Kara, thank you so much for coming.
Thanks so much for having me, guys.
Yes, we are so excited. Let's start with explaining what an animal communicator is and does.
Sure. Animal communicators, at the very basic level, receive and send telepathic messages to your animals. And anyone can learn this. I teach people how to do it so that you can have a better time in your own home. It is simply learning a slightly different way of communicating, a different language, if you will, of images and pictures and feelings, and starting to believe what you see. Okay. That's the starting point of it. And there are a lot of people who just do that, that they only communicate. So you're having two dogs who are not getting along. Maybe you got a new Christmas puppy, and the old dog, or the old cat in this case for this group, is not happy about it.
Right.
Some animal communicators can only stop at, I'm not happy about this because I'm scared, or I think that my boy is going to love this kitten better than he loves me. They might say that, which can be helpful, and it can also be helpful for them to then translate to the cat owner, the cat and the kitten. This is what you need to be doing, and this is what you need to be doing, and we expect you to get along, and sending lots of love from the guardians, right? That sometimes works just in and of itself. But what I have found over the years, and how I was trained, because 15 years ago, if you just called yourself an animal communicator, people think you were just crazy, right? And
Right.
Psychism.
Well, same with cat behaviorists,
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. We face a similar challenge. Like, it was not enough to just translate those messages, and it remains not enough today in many instances, because by the time you know this, a cat owner is coming to you with a cat problem. They're pretty frustrated and upset, and there is some risk that that animal will not get to stay in the home, or that everybody will resent that animal forever in the home because they're always doing something inappropriate or they seem sad. So, um, what I spent time learning when I was certified originally, um, and what I've done ever since, is to continue to work on my energy healing skills, my nutrition understanding, my cat behavior understanding, my dog behavior understanding, anatomy, medical intuition. Because I'll tell you, a lot of times when an animal is acting off, and someone thinks their behavior changed, the human desire is to ascribe that to some external circumstance. But when I connect with an animal, I'm talking to them first, and they might just say, my left upper right tooth hurts. Or then I also do, and you'll see these little models behind me because I teach people's medical intuition sometimes. I'll also do a medical scan of the body. I'm not a vet. I could miss something, but they will tell me, or I will be able to feel this is out. And then someone says, my dog's just a grumpy ass dog, or my cat's just a mean cat. And then you go in the body and you discover, hey, they've got some problem in their vertebrae that's been out forever, or his bladder hurts, right? And
Exactly.
then that's we get the problem solved, and we have a totally new animal. So
Yes.
so
We
that's what
do that a
I think.
lot.
Yeah, we do.
Yes. Like 95% of cats that were tested over age 10 have arthritis. So often when somebody, I don't know, he's just a jerk. And we're like, wait a minute. I see Fluffy is 12. Fluffy may have, oh, I haven't noticed anything. You won't. Cats are. And then a client the other day said, oh, thinking back, he's not really jumping on whatever it was anymore. He's not really, or he has problem jumping down from. And it's like, yeah, his joints hurt.
Arthritis.
So yeah, this is a problem. So yeah, we're not vets, but we know common things about animals. And I loved what you said about not trusting it, because there have been times that we've seen an animal and I just had a feeling this animal's just sad or whatever. And I just think, oh, Linda, don't project onto this animal what you think. Just stick with the facts. So we're those of us who were raised outside of the world of what Rita and I jokingly call woo-woo. It's hard to allow ourselves to accept what's happening.
Yes, I think that's very true, and I think 25 years ago would have been true for me as well. Um, but I love animals so much, and I was reading Penelope Smith's book many years ago, which is called Animals Speak, and I've always been fascinated by the metaphysical. I saw the book Mists of Avalon in a bookstore when I was 12 or 13 and begged my mother for it, and she was like, okay, we were stopping there to get directions. And I ended up going on the same tour with the same tour guide that took that author and that was in the frontispiece of her book, like, I don't know, 15 years later.
Wow.
You know, so like I really believe in coincidence and intuition, but I always didn't trust myself, right? Like, oh, whatever. But then I said, if
Jackie.
I'm going to develop my intuition, if I'm going to do this, I would want to do it for the animals,
Right.
right?
Yes.
And that's what led me into.
I want to know why Dexter keeps trying to rip the earbuds out of my ear.
Dexter is such a pain
He
on
is.
the computer.
He's being a
Well,
pain right
I
now.
feel like he thinks of himself a little bit like, and I've noticed a lot of black cats do, like, that are fun and youngish. They kind of think of themselves a little bit like an acrobat or like a super spy,
He acts like that.
and it's fun to like be in the middle of it all. And then also, do you find that he also kind of hides a little bit and you're like, he didn't know he was there, and then poof, there he is, and you're like, whoa, good. You know what I mean? Like, they just love to kind of slide through life and
I
make you do their thing.
tease her that he wants her to move back to LA so he can be a spokes cat. He feels
Not
like he's a star. I
happening.
tease her about that all the time. So
Not happening. Sorry,
be
bud.
on camera. She's in the office. He's there and he's walking across the keyboard. He's put it to sleep in the middle of sessions. He's unplugged things.
He's typed stuff. He typed a message to you guys right
Yes.
now.
Oh yeah. You
Yeah,
sent
You
me
seven
thank
you.
Dexter,
I
I
for your
just had a
message.
client about a few days ago, a dog in this instance, and the dog told me, I want to go on the motorcycle. And I thought, that's crazy. That's just me making. And then I saw a motorcycle 3 times in my mind's eye, and I was like, I don't think before I ever talked to the client, I said, I don't think you're going to get on a motorcycle. And this little dog was mad and was like, listen to me. I've been on the motorcycle. And if she can't do the motorcycle, I at least need a bike or a golf cart. And then she showed me those images in quick succession, right? And so we were talking about something else because the dog was injured, and I was like, okay, I just want to let you know, I think this
Stop.
may be off, but your dog keeps showing me a motorcycle, and then said that if you can't do the motorcycle, she wants the golf cart. And she just said, oh my goodness, she's like, I just ended a relationship with a guy that has a motorcycle, and we have a whole outfit, and motorcycle
Oh,
glasses and sent me the picture. It was so hysterical, but she does have a golf cart, so the dog got a
oh
golf
my
cart.
Good. I was all
gosh.
worried that the dog didn't get. Look, the communication. Honestly, this is what started me with the behavior. So Rita was into the behavior long before, and I tend to venture out to the Carolinas, especially in the winter because it's cold in Ohio,
Yeah,
and
last
stay with her.
November when your
Yeah.
furnace was
Yes, my
broken.
furnace died. I stayed 2 weeks with her until it was fixed. And so she said, "Oh, I don't remember what cat it was. He's giving you blinky eyes.
Oh
He
yeah.
loves you." And I was like, "Wait, what?" That was what clicked over. And then I was like a kid starving to go to school.
She's a body language geek.
I and the other night, one of my cats has miliary
Don't
dermatitis.
chew that.
And he came to
Stop.
me and he'll come in my face when he's really itchy and needs help. So I sat scratching at him and I was really tired. So I laid down and my eyes were shut. And I could feel the way his body would shift to no, scratch here, or oh no, that's starting to hurt. Or I just was having, I just was having all this communicate. And it was so exciting. I was out of my mind. I was so excited that I was understanding what he was telling me. So that's why I get so excited about what you do. Now, I want to ask you quickly, what is the difference between an animal communicator and a psychic?
Okay, so and any psychic can also talk to an animal. They can get some sort of messages from them. And if you have a lot of life advice needs, you need to go to the psychic, and then maybe you can ask a little bit about your animal, like
Mhm.
as part of that. What I see, I call it kind of like I used to sell printers many years ago. So it's sort of like getting a multi-purpose printer versus getting a specialized, here's my scanner,
I gotcha. Yeah, that makes
right? Or
sense.
my laser
Got it.
printer does. And so we're just going in a deeper focus. And so at least for me, not all animal communicators, but animal communicators are like, I'm not going to likely predict the day of the death of your cat. I'm not going to go all the way back in history unless your cat wants to show me a whole lot, because
Uh,
I'm really translating words, pictures, and feelings from them, like having a conversation with them. So, like some dogs who have been in the
Dexter.
Korean meat trade will talk about it. Some don't want to see it at all, and so they just show you a blanket kind of red with like no. So if you need like the whole behavior history, maybe a psychic. But if you have an animal where you want someone who can not only talk to your animal, but in my case, do body work, energy work, um, knows like a little bit about nutrition, a little bit about allergy, a lot of medical conditions for animals that you might not be aware of that you can then go ask your vet about. Um, that would be more of a special, like we spend a lot of our free time learning more about animals so we can bring more to our clients. Whereas a
Yes.
psychic's going to do a lot of multi-purpose things.
Okay. That
That
makes
makes
sense.
sense. Those of
So
you
it's a
who follow
focused.
us, I just had to give Dexter some convivial house cat to get him to calm
Stuff's
down.
amazing. Yes. And get off my computer.
He's starting to calm down.
Good,
There you
good,
go.
good.
There you go.
Yeah. Please.
He
Please.
seems to come up
So-
here wanting that daily.
Mhm.
Every time I'm on the
Yeah.
computer.
Yeah. Yeah. He likes that calming
Or
feeling.
we think
so
he likes it.
asks
I
for
don't
it.
know. Does he?
Well, if he asks for it, he must.
Let me ask him.
Okay.
He's asking me who I am first, so hold on. Now, how do you give it? How do you administer it to him?
I either spray it on my hand and pet him, or actually sometimes I spray it right on him because he stands still for that, unlike some of the other cats.
I think he prefers, because he was telling me I like the way it's delivered, and I'm like, what way do you deliver it? And it feels to me like he likes it sprayed directly on him better.
Yeah.
And he says, what else do you say about that? Like what I see in his nervous system on another cat, I might call it anxiety, but I don't really call it anxiety for him. He doesn't feel anxious to me. He just feels, let's say, high strung, like highly busy is what I would call him. Just a busy cat. So there's like the way it appears to me in the nervous system is there's like a little red line that's kind of going like a little bit of static. And he shows me that when you spray that on him, and he says it takes about, he says between 4 and 7 minutes for it
Yeah.
to kind of make any difference, but it kind of goes in there and it puts a little bit of a purple line over the red line and calms him down. So I think it's working quite well for him.
Okay. That makes sense because usually he'll go and lay down, 4 or 5 minutes after I spray it. He'll go over. He'll get down and go over and lay
Yeah.
down and give
And
himself
so
a bath.
just to break down kind of what I did there, I was like, okay, I went and introduced myself in another channel, sort of while you were talking, and he was like, "Who are you?" And I was like, "I'm kind of a friend of your mom's, and she wants me to ask you whether you like this thing." And he was like, "Oh." And he looked up at me and I saw his little face. And then he was like, "Yes, I do like it." And then he went right inside to his body, like a skeletal picture of his body, and then showed me the nervous system and showed that purple line. And I said, "What does that purple line mean?" And then he gave me more information. And then he said, "There's 2 different ways it's delivered. And I like one of them." And I said, "Okay, that's why I asked you, how do you
Okay.
deliver?" And then I went back to him and said that.
That's
So
funny because I would have assumed the petting was better, but he likes it sprayed on him.
It
think
gets
he-
more delivery when I spray it on him. It's gets right. None
Oh,
of it
yeah.
absorbs into my hand. Right.
you know what? And also for him, I think it's feeling special.
Mm.
Like something about you spraying it directly on him makes him feel more unique than the
Than
others
the way
that you
everybody
may
else
use
gets
on.
it, which is
He's
true.
like, "Oh, this
I wonder
like-
which other cat he battles one of them for spots up here, and then another cat he's kind of friends with, but every now and then Simba will smack him, and like, "I'm your boss." He just walks away.
Don't forget who I am.
He's a very calm. He doesn't start fights or anything. He's a good
He
boy.
was- yeah.
Good
Yeah.
boy.
He had been outside
good
and I
boy.
think he's loving this, not
Mhm.
worrying. And I wonder if when you said that about that little bit, it's not really anxiety, because I've never noticed him to be an anxiety cat. But we have noticed that all cats that have lived outside have a heightened sense of,
Yeah.
well, they know the boogeyman is real, right? Let's
Yeah.
get serious. They know that all the things that can happen
he's
can
just
happen.
he's more alert to what might be happening, right? He
Yeah.
That makes
doesn't
sense.
seem nervous to me at all. It's just like he's prepared to be an outside cat. But it's funny that you say that he did that with Simba, like he just walks away, because he kind of cocked an eyebrow while you were talking, like, yeah.
That's what he does with Simba. Yeah. Simba starts
Yeah.
stuff and he's like, "Yeah, I'm done."
And he's like, "Dude, what is your problem?" When he first came in, Simba obviously wanted to be friends with Dexter, but he was scared. So
Yeah.
he would walk up to him and he'd smack him in the head and make
And
this
go,
screeching
"Meow,
sounds
meow."
and then run away like he was waiting to be chased. And Dexter's just like,
What's your
"Dude."
problem?
Yeah.
Short
Dude, I'm
malfunction.
happy for a comforter and like a couch to sit on, like just chill.
Exactly. I just want to peacefully coexist. Can we all get along?
They're buddies now, but except when Simba decides he wants to exert some power.
Yeah, that's
And
Simba.
that's okay.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
good too.
yeah. I'll tell you one of the things that
We have to
Rita
take
and
a
I
oh
have-
wait. We have to take a
sorry.
break.
Do
This
we
is a
need to
good
take a break?
time to
Okay.
take
Oh,
a
the
little break
pain.
for our Spencer, our Spencer, and we'll be right back. We're back with 19 Cats and Counting and Pet's Eye View, Kara, who just gave me an excellent reading on my Dexter, who came to be because he was found on my deck outside.
Yep.
Linda, what were you
She's
starting to say when we go to break?
So the goal of a behaviorist is to make our cats happy, right? And to make cats their happiest, we have to try to mimic what's outside, because that's a cat, just because they come inside doesn't mean they change. So I'm realizing more and more in nature, they go out twice a day. They hunt their prey, they kill it, they eat it. They won't even eat something that's dead. They come in our house and we plop a bowl down. Breakfast is served. Just all the things that are wrong with inside living that can be corrected, but it's wrong. So
Yeah,
in
the
your
environment's
opinion,
totally
how do
different.
the cats feel about that? Are they happy to just come in and be a couch potato? Or do they
I think
not
it's very
appreciate?
individual. Like I think
Okay.
it's very individual. They're just I mean, they're not just like people. I got to be careful about that because people so anthropomorphize them. So even though I can speak to animals and you can speak to animals, we can also not expect them to have human reactions
What are you
to everything.
watching? There's
Yeah.
nothing up
Yeah.
But I find that some really love it. Some, particularly if they have been outside most of their lives and then we bring them in. Don't you also find this too? It's like they love the automatic delivery of their food.
yeah.
They're like, woohoo, bring it on. And then if you eat
Dexter's
7 times a
very
day, they would
lazy.
Yes.
Very
Yes.
lazy.
Others,
Yes.
I think, and I think they can all use the hunt, catch, kill,
Mhm.
groom, sleep, eat. Eat, groom, sleep. Ah,
Yes.
Yeah, we
yes,
call it
yes.
pegs. Yeah.
Pegs.
Play, eat,
Pray.
groom, sleep.
Yes.
Thank you, that's
Outside it's
easier.
pray, eat, groom, sleep. Inside it's play, eat, groom, sleep. So
Yeah,
we
it's
try to
very-
get people to work
It's
that
very
in.
similar to Jackson's. What is it? Kill. I don't even
Yeah,
remember what it
yeah.
is. But yeah, it's very, very similar.
Yeah.
But I think recreating some sort of work for them in the house. So like for example, I have an outdoor stray who then became our cat after having babies in the shelter.
Oh.
And the reason that I chose her, even though I was looking for an orange cat, like we talked about before, is I walked into the shelter and she was having her outdoor playtime in a big structure by herself. And she was gray with these yellow eyes, penetrating yellow eyes. And she came right up to the edge of the structure. And I was like, hello, like literally opening shelter. Like, it's like party time when you go to the shelter. Like,
Oh yeah.
go give love to animals, I send them energy work. I try to help the really sad ones. And I'm like, hello. And I walk in and she goes, they took my babies. They took my babies. And I'm like, I'm going to go visit this one. And nobody could confirm that was what had happened to her until we actually adopted her a couple days later. And then the shelter manager said, yes, she had 6 babies in shelter and they've all been adopted. And so she's why, but for her, because she wants to eat all the time, she can.
Yeah.
I'm always putting out licky mats, like making her go.
Yes.
And she was so mad at me last night because she's on a little diet, and I had really mushed it into the licky mat really low, and she was like, "Look at this." And it was still in there. And I'm like, you got to work a little harder, girl. Like, it's still in there.
Yeah, we
Let me
love the
show
licky
you.
mat.
We
Yeah.
love a licky mat. Yes. Yes. This is one of the things we keep on hand to demonstrate to clients because again, make anything that'll make them work for their food, right?
You probably have it right next to you, don't
Puzzle
you?
toys, treat balls, licky mats. I have my handy dandy drawer of goodies. So yes.
Did she eventually get it out, Kara, or did she give up?
I mean, maybe I was a little aggressive with the imprinting of the food, maybe just slightly, but she got out most of it, and then she relaxed, and my son, my 15-year-old, is like, you can't feed her more than twice a day, and I'm like, yes, I can. I just have to feed her small little amounts, so she feels not afraid again at a very deep level that she's going to be kicked outside. But then she always knows at 9 o'clock that it's time for her last snack. And then she actually waits for my husband to put her to bed. Like literally, he has to pick her up and put her on the edge of the bed. She only she works with me in my business, so she'll teach animal communication like on the 21st, which we've talked about, or we haven't talked about, but
we'll talk about it.
Yeah, we will.
And so she's great for that, but he is her boyfriend.
Aww.
So she needs to have him put her to sleep, and he can pet her for a really long time. The rest of us get 2 swipes and think that's enough.
They do pick their
that.
people. Linda has one that Subra that's really attached to her.
And she
really
doesn't tend to hang out a lot if there's a lot of other cats around. So she likes to come to me at like 3, 4 in the morning and wake me up for love. But she will come in and my husband and I sleep just, tight spooning kind of thing. And she will wedge herself. And I'm like, girl, are you going to be a pancake here? She will wedge herself between us. And a couple of years ago on our anniversary, I think it was our 17th anniversary, I said I want 17 kisses, one for every year. He got 2 in and she walked up and stuck her head in between our lips and just like planted herself there, like block. And I just laughed so hard. I was like, oh, I guess I'm not getting the other 15. But, just like, you've had enough of my mom. She belongs to me. So
what's her name?
Subra.
Subra.
Yeah.
Oh.
She was in here. She's not now.
Is she in the room with you, Linda?
I thought she was, but no, she left.
What does she look like? What's her color?
I'm trying to see. I'm sure I've got a picture here. I have so many pictures of my cat.
Paws is cleaning
Uh,
your bed for you. I don't know what he's doing there.
Who knows? He's as crazy as his brother.
See, we both have so many pictures of cats. She
Yeah.
can't find the one she
know it.
wants.
No,
She's black and white, isn't she,
like
Linda?
she's so interesting because she has she been outside as well? Beautiful.
I got her.
Got her at FFRC, right?
Yeah, she was probably maybe 8 months old. So I assume she had been outside and somebody had brought her to the rescue.
Because a lot of her imagery, I'm not doing a deep read of her right now, but a lot of her imagery is of seeing herself as like calming mountain air. That's what she called herself, like that she's got this calming mountain air feeling to her. And that's what she's calling her the core of her being, and that she thinks that it's partially her job to help remove your stresses of the day in the middle of the night.
That makes sense the way she acts, doesn't it?
That's 100%. That's 100%. Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
getting all misty.
Which is
here.
the one
Stop
that's
it.
really attached to Brian? Which is the one that's really attached to
Baka.
Brian? Baka.
That little snot.
Black cat.
Baka?
I rescued her. She was all over me. And I thought, well, this is my lap cat I was looking for. She was number 2 in. So I bring her home and she's like, and attached herself to my stepdaughter. So when my stepdaughter finished college and moved out, she attached herself to my husband. And I'm like, listen, woman, I saved you. Do you understand?
Yeah, she doesn't care.
She snookered you to get out of there.
She's like, when I see her, can you still hear me? Because I
Yeah,
just think
yes.
I lost you. Okay.
We hear you.
Like the funny thing is she just showed me, and please don't like take this the wrong way, but she said that she showed me you having too many arms, like multiple arms, and she's like, you've got multiple pets to take care of and to
Yeah.
manage, and like, and I am this allows me independent time. So let's talk about that for a minute in terms of the because I want to get back to what's the one that's the mountaineer? What's her name?
Subra.
Zubra. Okay, so here I'd like to talk about pets and purpose, right? And I want to give credit to the woman who trained me many years ago, Joan Ranquat, with Communication with All Life University. She taught me this, um, and and I have a little ebook on it that you can get at my website called "Give Your Pet a Purpose." About halfway down my website.
What's your website? Petseyeview.com?
Petseyeview.com.
Okay.
But what I don't want people doing, what I really hate after years and years of doing this, is people giving their animals or letting them, because they will decide their own jobs, right? Like they'll decide them. If you don't decide them, and especially for both of you who have multiple animals, it would be really helpful and instructive to give each a very separate and unique purpose in your life.
How do you do that?
You think about who they are as an animal and what they do really well, but that is not doing one of the following things. Number one, they can't be a baby because then they get away with all sorts of stuff.
It
Yeah.
says
Number
my
two-
baby, and she gets away with all sorts of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
and that annoys the other animals in your multiple pet household,
Right.
It
That's
really
true.
annoys them. So we don't call them baby, we don't call them my child, we don't do that stuff. We find a different thing for them. You don't call, and also we tend to also call the babies the ones who seem more sensitive or may have had a hard past or been rescued,
Right.
and then they get to stay stuck in that kind of rescue mentality, or I just have these bad habits because I was on the street or I got hurt, or so we want to pick a different job than that. Also, I'm not a big fan, and this more applies to dogs than cats, but I don't like the protector job at all. Of course, people have large property perimeters and they want to have a dog for protection, but not letting them think that that's their job.
Uh-huh.
Telling them that they're the first lieutenant or they're the perimeter watcher. And then that allows you to have more control over them, like you're still on top of them, right? No one gets to be the boss. Um, and no one gets to be, in your case with Zubra, the energy healer, in my opinion. Um, so, uh, so because they can get sick from that long term. So what I want you to do with Zubra and anybody who has a cat that they feel is healing them, who's watching this or listening to this, I want you to take your hand and put it over the top of their head, about 2 inches, and sweep all the way down their body to the end of the tail. And then maybe one side and down the right side and out the right pinky. And you're just on the same side with the left. And as you do that, you imagine that you're taking on any energy that they've absorbed during the day or that they're trying to help you with.
Mhm.
And you say, thank you so much for being my buddy, my friend, or in that one case of that one cat you have, the fairy queen of this house, but do not take on
Yeah.
my stuff because I'm separate from
That's
you.
Pie Pie. Pie Pie's my queen.
Hi, bye bye.
And they all know it. They
And
all know it.
We've said
Right.
that, yes.
And so that, going back to that, with that ebook that you can get at my website,
I'm going
it
to,
really helps you because then for a while, you don't have to do it forever, but for a while, I like my students to, or my clients to try to give 20 praises a day, verbal praises of the job that they're good at. And if you're doing that, in your cases for 19 cats, that's a lot of praise. So you gotta spread it around with the other people who live in your house, right?
And Linda has a dog too. We can't neglect the dog.
Yes,
Okay.
I know. That
So-
poor dog gets lost in the shuffle, and I know she knows it. And yeah.
Yeah, or like your cat is very good. Zubra is very good at finding her private time with you. But even if it's just 5 minutes,
Mhm.
a day with each one where you're telling them what an awesome job they've done at their job, you will notice that the peace in your home goes up
Wow.
exponentially because they all feel recognized and appreciated for who they are.
Yes.
So again, it can't be a job that's too hard for them. Like you cannot tell a very scared cat that it needs to be noble or it needs to be the friend for company.
Mhm.
No, it's
Yeah,
just pretty,
that's a petrifying.
right?
Have
So-
you noticed? Oh, I was just saying, Kara, have
Sure.
you noticed that a lot of people like to ascribe human emotion to their cats? The two that we hear a lot, jealousy and revenge. And we think that's just not in a cat's vocabulary.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think cats and dogs both, and even horses, are territorial,
Mhm.
but they're not. They don't feel jealousy. They're just like, this is
It-
my space, or you as the person might be their space.
Right.
But it's not like I hate that cat because it's
Mm-mm.
getting so much more.
That's
It's all
what we
about
said.
resources.
Resources are everything in nature. And if a cat comes into your colony, they're not sharing, they're taking. The idea, the concept of sharing, I always say, is not in a cat's vocabulary. So when a cat comes in and is sitting on your lap, the new cat, it's not I'm jealous, it's you're taking my mommy.
And when they pee on your bed, it's not revenge. It's
No,
a lot of
it's-
time it's fear and insecurity.
Self-soothing. Yes.
Stress.
I just want to ask you.
I know we're almost done.
I
so,
know,
yeah.
but I really want to. This is Kismet.
Mhm.
Okay, Kismet.
Can you tell
How
me what
old is Kismet?
God, I wish I knew. Somewhere around
He's an adult.
7 or 8.
I think 8,
Okay.
maybe close to 9, actually.
Okay.
And a boy.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And what do you want to know from Kismet?
How
I would about his health, right?
He's
Linda?
been through a lot of trauma and he's got health problems. And I just want to know that he's happy and that he's okay and that we're doing right by him. I want to know how he's feeling.
I'm writing. I do automatic writing as I'm listening
Okay.
to them.
I had a friend who did automatic writing. It's fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you about it offline, Linda.
Yeah. Love to
Is he on medication now? Because he says he might need some medication.
No, he's not right
know. He's
now.
not on now. So yeah.
Nothing.
Okay, and I feel
just
like more-
holistic
he said he
remedies.
feels okay, but he says he just feels okay. And that if we were going to go do a full read, I would go more deeply inside the body and look for organs and stuff.
Mhm.
But I kind of hear like kidney is a bit of a problem. Does he have a kidney problem that you're aware of?
He has FIV, so a lot of his
Okay.
organs have taken a little bit of a hit. Now, last time the numbers weren't where they should be, but they weren't scary. But it's been a while, so
Okay.
yeah, it's
So I mean, what I'm gonna ask you to do is to like work on kind of expanding his aura. I want you to ask him how old he would like to be every day, and he says he'd like to be two
okay.
right
Wouldn't
now.
we all?
Okay.
And then I want you to like kind of put your hands around him and like send him lots of either blue or gold, whatever light energy comes to you, and tell him you're two, and everything's working great. And then I want you to, in your mind's eye, I want you to look at those blood results that are not great, and I want you to increase them to being whatever they should be, positive, good. Um, I have a dog with heart murmur, and I have a cat with kidney disease, early kidney disease,
That's
and
very.
both of them through consistent energy work, and it's more in depth than we can do here. So I do animal communication and I do energy work on animals, right? There's two different
Right.
things. I
Yes.
mean, the communication leads to the energy work, right?
Right.
But through consistent energy work and me just visualizing and telling them that they're better, 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 both of their levels dropped to normal in the course of a year. So you cannot take any kind of illness and think of it as the more you worry about him, the more you tell him actually he's sick.
Sure.
And then he believes he's sick, right? I also love it if you go to the vet with a difficult diagnosis, if it's possible at all to put your animal in a different room or in the car while you're getting whatever the diagnosis is, they don't hear and see all of it and absorb it, and your worry at the moment. And even if it's a terrible diagnosis, you want to keep, I'm not telling you to fake yourself out or that nobody's going to die,
No, I
but you
got it.
also want to make the possibility of, of wellness, because we can. I had a dog that I worked with for over a year and a half, I think, and the owner was very committed, the guardian, and did all the holistic vet stuff, but he had congestive heart failure. And once a week, I did energy work on this dog, and he was supposed to live 6 months, and he lived 19 months.
Wow,
So
that's
you
like my
cannot take things as
Sadie.
Well,
gospel.
and you nailed it. So
My Sadie that I wrote the
yes,
book
your
about.
Sadie was supposed to live no more than 6 months with a congenital heart defect and lived to be almost 7.
2 months shy of 7 years.
Yeah. So you just nailed me totally, because Kismet was found hanging out in a feral colony, was not feral, was beat to snot. Just fleas, mites, skinny, 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 just everything. And then, of course, FIV, bunch of bad teeth that had to come out. I think he's got 4 left. Just bad. And he gets these outbreaks of miliary dermatitis because of his immunocompromised. And I spend a lot of time petting him and saying, I'm just so sorry, baby. I'm just so sorry. I love you. So I'm just so sorry. I'm just so sorry. Thank you. That was a huge gift to me. Thank you. Because
You're
yeah, I
welcome.
am constantly just, and I'm sure he's feeling all that. I'm just like grieving for what
And the
he's
other thing
been
is
through.
you cannot blame yourself like for feeling that way. That's it, right? You just can try to change what you're saying to him. You're doing so well. You're such a hero for surviving all of that. And look at how loving and good you are in this house. Wonderful. Great job. I'm
That's good.
sorry it feels bad right now. I'm going to work on it. And then you work through the energy of just imagining your hand removing some of that illness,
Okay.
making
I'm
it
going to
stronger.
do
And I'll
that.
work with you.
I would love to have you just sit and read all of our cats.
I would
I
love to.
so
But,
love you.
I
We
do.
are
I know.
not, we got things coming up. I know we're over time.
No, it's okay. We
which
can turn it
we'll
into a
see.
2-parter.
There
We've
you
done that before,
go.
but we have a 3:30.
Oh, that's right. We have a behavior.
So we've got
quickly.
a little
yes.
time. We've got a little time.
Yes. I just adore you. And people don't know about you. It's very frustrating when I hear, that they don't know about behaviors. I get very excited when a client says, my vet said I've done all I can do. You need a behaviorist. I'm like, your vet knows about behaviors? Because other people
Most
be
of
like,
them
the vets
don't. They
the
put them
vet's
on
like, I guess you
Prozac.
rehome them.
They put them on Prozac. They put them on gabapentin. And
they
that's
tell you
it.
to get plugins, pheromone
Right,
plugins.
pheromone
Those are the yes,
plugins.
yes.
That's it.
Every time someone says they're on medication, we're like Prozac, fluoxetine. Yeah, is that it? Yeah,
It's
that's it.
we're not against medication, but that should be like a rare instance that a cat would need it. And there's much better medications than Prozac anyway. We
And
like holistic. We like
it's-
holistic remedies.
yes,
Yes.
and it's temporarily and artificially numbing a symptom without dealing with the cause.
Yes.
So yeah, I get very frustrated when people don't know that we exist and we need more of us. And, you know, people constantly come, oh, I didn't know you existed.
Kara, I
So-
think you're probably the same way. A lot of people
Same
don't
thing.
know.
Exactly. That's what I
A
said,
lot
you
of
know.
people don't know. Or the other thing is one single animal communication session, especially when there's multiple animals, we just get a little bit of talking at a time. Now, if we were to have a full 30-minute session with 1 or 2 animals, you're going to get a lot of information because I sit and just do my automatic writing of all the things that they love, what they don't like, what's hurting, what do they need to say about whatever the situation is you're dealing with, if there is a situation. And sometimes they will bring up a situation, like in the case of motorcycle dog, like I want to go on a ride. And then we would do the body work, and there might be a little time left over to do some energy work or give you some of the tips I've just given you.
Yeah.
But one of my frustrations is people think sometimes that they can have an animal communication session and you can just tell the cat to stop doing this thing. And then that's what makes animal communication real. The actual truth is we all live in each other's fields, right? And if you're still angry at your cat or upset, and you've had someone go, don't do that, and you haven't changed anything else about that environment,
yes, ma'am.
not much else is going to change.
Yes,
There's
ma'am.
so much overlap between us. I love you so much.
We have a lot of
because,
people. We have a lot of people that like to discipline their cats the same way they discipline their dogs. They shouldn't do it to their dogs either. But the last thing you can do is rub your cat's nose in a mistake or wrap him on the nose with a newspaper. That's not going to do anything but make the cat fear you or get aggressive with you
or yell at them. We try to get across that nothing your cat does is wrong. It's simply inconvenient or wrong for you and your lifestyle.
Yeah, that's right.
But there are no bully cats. There are no aggressive cats. If a cat is bully, it's fight or flight, right? I'm scared. I'm either going to fight or flight.
I have a 5-pillar plan for people with their animals. It's called peace.
Tell us about that.
Purpose, environment, which is 80% of it a lot of the time. Assertion. Like, what are you doing about what you expect for the animal? So last night I just talked to a bunch of people, a family with numerous cats and 1 dog. And it was the most peaceful sitch. And I'm like, y'all are happy, upbeat, sunny, positive people, aren't you? And so you've just had all these animals keep entering and you just go, it's going to be good, right? This is the happy place. And they all just abide by that, right?
That's my house.
So,
that's my house.
That's like kind of like they just expect we're going to add another cat every year. And it's
they're just okay. There's another one.
The last 20 integrations Rita did were just really seamless. I mean, just of course she had to do the thing. She didn't just throw them out there, but it wasn't at all tough because her resident cats are so used to cats coming in that we have often said they go, another one.
Yeah. And then there's communication, which is what I do. And then there's energy work and body work. So I'm trained in several modalities of energy work. I use what works for me in sort of a mix. It's become kind of an amalgamation of everything from EFT to chakra work to aura work to color therapy, Silva method, whatever. And then body work, which is where I might recommend acupressure or acupuncture. I'm not an acupuncturist, but I know several acupressure points on the body because I've taken courses in it. Easy for you to learn. Books you can get for AcuCat. It's an AcuCat, which will help with the arthritis, by the way. So that would be a good tool for your toolkit, is to give people that. And then arthritis or very nervous cats can benefit from, very light stimulation on key points on the body. Right?
Okay, that's awesome.
Can I ask another question?
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Linda. How do you manage? We have this issue too. How do you manage your clients' expectations? Like, I think sometimes the clients think that they have a session with us and that everything's going to magically be okay. It doesn't work that way. They have to put in the work.
We're going to give them the cure. Here's your pill. Take it. Everything will be fine.
I think the writing on my website's pretty clear. And then at the beginning of it, I do most of my calls via Zoom, right?
So, yeah, we do too.
I start every session by saying, depending on what they've signed up for. So I have communication, and then I have, energy work, and I've played with the idea of making that like everything's hunky dory, this is fun, or I have a problem, right? And if you have a problem, it could take more than one session, but I
Sure.
need to get in there and talk to your animal to see what is possible. And some of the people are great with that, and some of the people, especially those who are less woo, right,
Yes.
are
Yes.
more likely to go, well, that was my last resort, and I don't know, right?
Oh, we've heard
I
that.
hate those last resort people, because usually there's sometimes, well, a lot of times it's a couple, and one person wants to put in the work and the other person really wants to get rid of the cat. And so he's like, blocked. He doesn't want to do anything.
Yes, energetically blocked as well. And actually, what's very interesting about that is that the animals know it,
I know.
they sense it, and then some of them go, I can't curse on this, but I would just say, they'd say, okay, you're going to do it, then I'm going to push every single boundary more, so you just get over it, dump me at the shelter, because I hear you. And people don't think that they hear you.
I
They
hear you.
know when
I
you're
know they do.
She
euthanizing
just
them.
described a client couple
keep
that we had.
Mac.
That's the one. Yep. I don't want to say anything more, but yep.
Yeah,
They
a friend
know
of
it.
mine in
They know it.
Florida
I
took him.
had one cat who the guardians were going to euthanize it, and it was just like, why should I work with them? Why should I work with you? Because they're just going to put me to sleep. And so I had to have a very straight conversation in a kind way with the clients about, like, I understand he's peed everywhere in your house, right? But there are, and here's the other thing, the animals are very protective of their owners. So they're not, even if you are like kind of borderline abusive, they're not coming to me. And this is I think also hesitation for animal people coming to animal communicator, because they're like, oh, I fight every night, we scream and
He's
yell
gonna
in the
tell
house,
on
and the cat's
me.
gonna say that, right? The cats actually, to me at least, you might get different from someone else, they rarely go, oh, they fight all the time and he's terrible or she's terrible or there's drugs. They don't say any of that. They just might say, I'm afraid, it's a little loud sometimes. Like, that's the most they would
They're
ever
not
say. So we're not going to
tattletelling.
read your secrets, because they're very protective of
I
their
wish they'd
owners.
really tell the truth.
Yeah, it's so
Maybe,
hard.
yeah.
It's so hard. And often when they say, if this doesn't work, I'm gonna. It's like you've already got that possibility in your mind. We need to take that out.
That's why we found Mac a new home, because the guy already, he had his mind made up. They weren't going to do any work. They kept saying, so what if this doesn't work? Then what? What if this doesn't work? Then what? So we just found Mac a new home, and he's happy now.
I said at one point, we need to take that out. If we get there, we get there. But let's take that out of the realm of possibilities and commit and say, we're going to do this and it's going to work.
Yeah. And what things do you do for, say, like well, maybe you don't want to talk about this, but in general, what is the worst thing that people come to you for their cats? Like, is it peeing
all over the place? Peeing,
pooping,
is the number one, right?
Spraying. Those are the big ones.
But peeing is the one where people have really had it, and that's where we hear the euthanasia word mostly.
Yeah, because they don't understandably want to clean up pee in their home. So,
it's very interesting to me when one cat will do that when they don't live in a multiple cat home, and then they're peeing everywhere. But it's truly because the couple is having a lot of fights and they're scared.
Yes,
ma'am. That's it.
They're having anxiety from whatever. Cats outside. We found so many. Client reached out to us and said our cat will not pee in the box. So we're in a Zoom with her, and the cat jumps up into the windowsill.
I remember this.
And I said, Rita, do you see that tail? Slash, 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 slash. There's cats outside your house, honey. Your cat just told me that. And by the way, guess where the litter box is?
Right under
that window.
Gotta move it.
That's why your cat's not peeing in the box, because they feel that there's a predator right there. And I am not going to get all comfy and in the position. Like, I'm not going to drop my drawers and sit on the toilet if Freddy Krueger's about to break in. I can't run with my pants at my ankles.
Right. Like that cat that I adopted that I have now that she's on the diet, Celine. She peed on my white fabric couch
Aye.
the first week that I let her out in the house. And of course I'm like, okay, here I am, the animal communicator, and I flip and got a cat, and now she's being on, oh my God, I suck. And I did the whole 9 yards, like the slowest introduction possible. So she was having her free time with the dogs locked away, and she's getting to get her scent in the house. And she peed on the couch, and I tuned in, and I was like, listen, girl, you got to tell me, like, did I make the mistake? And do you belong in a one-person home with no dogs? Because I actually assigned myself to get a cat as an animal communicator, so that with three
Sure, that
small
makes
young
sense.
dogs, to make sure that I could tell clients, you can do this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I
Yes.
was doing,
Yes.
but I was like, did I screw up? And is this the wrong place for you? And she went in the calmest, most serious voice in my head, no, no, I'm fine. It will be fine. This is fine. We just need a little more time. This is fine. And I was like, are you sure? Because you just peed all over my couch. And then she was like, I peed all over your couch because I'm pretty sure that those dogs are going to like corner me in my litter box. So this feels safer because I'm higher and I'm more elevated. She actually
Kizzy.
said that to me.
Kismet. When my daughter had to move back home in 2020 after we lost my son-in-law to COVID, and she brought her 4 cats. And so you can imagine this was the worst integration.
It was
known to man,
mayhem. It was
because
mayhem.
it was so bad because her cat still didn't know where daddy went. He was 26 days in a coma on event. And then they get moved to grandma's house where there's strange cats, and 3 of them had never seen a dog before. I mean, it was ugly. So Kizzy, who I told you was found in a feral colony, all of a sudden he's living on my kitchen counter. And I said, okay, he wants to be safe. He's scared. I've just given him PTSD. He started at night when we were in bed peeing on the counter.
Mm-hmm.
Because he was too scared to get down and find the litter box. So I started spraying Convivial on the countertops. Unfortunately, it calmed him enough that he could find it. But it's like, yeah, they're in bed. They can't protect me. And I'm not going down. We just gained 4 cats. I'm not doing it. And it was, I didn't get mad at him. I was like, honey, what's wrong?
Yeah, and also, I think I hate to say it, but like some animals come in together and they get along right away, like swimmingly from
It's
the
true.
beginning, just like people. And then TikTok and Instagram have sort of ruined us because we see all these cutie pictures of the dogs and cats all melting
I know.
on
I
each
love
other,
them.
and we love them. But then we think it's a fantasy of like, oh, 2 days and we'll be all fine.
No, it takes
Like
longer.
my cat and dogs, even with all my energy work every day, and I would say it took me about 2 months to feel like I could like leave the dogs
That's
and the
about
cat
right.
alone in
Yeah,
the
that sounds
living
about
room,
right.
and everything would be fine. And now they all are sleep. Right now, during this talk we're having, 2 dogs and a cat are on the bed, and one dog is under the bed, and they love each other. But people also have no
Exactly.
patience. So when
Mhm.
people go, oh, I want to get another couple cats. How do my dogs feel about it? I had this call the other day, and I was like, I said, one of your dogs wants just 1 cat, not 2 cats, because thinks it will take too much attention away from her.
Mhm.
And she wants it to be gray. That's what the dog said. And the other dog is like, what's a cat? I'm like, so if you can just make sure that you're comfortable that it's going to be chaotic and you will manage it, then you can do it. But it's not
Yes.
going to be,
Exactly.
How did Sadie introduce herself to the cats? Talk about that, Linda.
Yeah,
Her dog Sadie, Chihuahua.
when I adopted Sadie, the former owners brought her in on a leash. So the cats were able to come up and like, oh, who are you? And I think there were only like 3 or 4 cats at the time, which sounds like a lot to some people, but it wasn't this insanity. But Sadie has been very easy to integrate. First of all, dogs are often easier than cats to integrate because cats don't consider them to be fighting for their resources. Like,
The
this
same
is a
ones,
dog.
right.
So, you're not messing with my litter box. You're not messing, you're a different animal. But Sadie also is submissive. I think she knows her size and who she is. She has literally gone up to each cat at one point or another and said, will you play with me? And 11 out of 12 have smacked her upside the head. And she's gone, okay, I'm good. And Galway will play with her.
Yeah.
One orange boy will play with her, and they will roll around.
They play
and
rough
say,
too.
the one that will play.
Galway. Big
Galway?
orange boy. Yep, Galway.
I don't know where those names come from.
I'm assuming Galway.
Oh, she's trying to
but I don't
read
know.
Galway.
Yeah.
She's trying to read.
Yeah.
Do you have a
I'm just
picture
trying
of
to
it?
talk to Galway. And Sadie? What color is Sadie?
She's a white Chihuahua.
Short hair.
Yep.
Okay, she thinks she's a comedian, that she's there for comic relief.
That makes
Well,
sense. Yeah, I'll buy that.
You do laugh at her a lot. So do I.
So yeah, and she shows me wearing polka dots, which I would have to look deeper into what she means, but like wearing something polka dotted.
She had a pink and white polka dotted dress that she loved, and she doesn't fit it anymore.
Holy crap. I didn't even know that.
Tell her to lose some freaking weight, will you, Kara? Because then she can wear her dress. I knew she loved that dress. I'm not big on dressing animals up, but I got her and I thought it was cute, so I tried it, and she like thrives when she's
Well, why don't
dressed
you
up.
just get her another one?
Yeah,
I will. I had like, I don't know, 5 or 6 outfits. I had a 4th of July outfit.
Yeah, so she she's saying about Galway. Galway's not, I'm not talking to Galway right now, but she's saying about Galway that Galway is smarter than the other animals give him credit for, that he's
That's
very
probably true.
intelligent.
Well, then he's smarter than I give him credit for, so that makes
Mhm.
perfect sense. But I am one of the animals in the home.
Okay, so find ways in which he's smarter, because this is for that information. So I always pray before I do a reading, like, can I have good information that I'm clear channel? And I did that before this because I want it to be helpful, right? So the information that I've received today is basically we need to go get one animal medically checked, make sure that he's okay, and then we're going to be positive about the results.
Mhm.
One animal has brought up a piece of clothing that they loved in a weird way that I would not even understand what I'm looking at, right? But that needs that's a question. And then clearly knows that people call his friend dumb, and he doesn't want you to do that anymore. So we're going to find something that Galway is awesome at. And it sounds like what a great job for him is to be his best friend. Galway, you are the best friend of Sadie. I'm sorry, not her. Her
Yes,
best
it's
friend.
okay.
And Sadie's the best friend of Galway. And you're doing such a good job at being that. And you're also very funny. Like, even if you laugh at her all day, you're so funny. What a good jester you are. I love you being my comedian. And you will notice that even if they've been feeling a little dumb or not the coolest animals in the house, that their confidence will grow.
See, and I've never even thought about it.
I know.
Galway is not a squeaky wheel. Galway just peacefully coexists so well. And when you have this many cats, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. And I've been lousy about giving Galway attention, jobs.
Well, you have 3 other people in your household. He doesn't get no attention.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's not a lot. Yeah, because he won't jump in your lap and lay on you. He won't assert himself, you know. He won't be a jerk like Deadpool.
I have cats like that.
You know, Deadpool, I got to really keep occupied all the time because if he gets bored, he gets into trouble. And so there's all this focus, and because he's the sick cat in my mind, which I've got to get rid of. And, you know, everybody's got there, but
I hate to end this, but we've got to wrap. Unfortunately, if we didn't have a session coming up, but we do. I have to forever. I have to tell you honestly, Kara, I'm a skeptic. I don't know if you know that, but I'm very skeptical. But this thing with the polka dots, you sold me. There's no way you could have known. There's no way you could have known that.
She said that, I was like, and I thought, okay, Rita,
didn't even know
we're gonna do a check now because we joke that on a scale of woo woo, I'm a little woo, and she's negative woo.
I guess
so I think
now
she
I'm
just moved up on.
I guess I'm woo. I'm woo.
You're woo. Now you're woo. Okay, good. Gotta tell you.
Well, it's been lovely to spend time with you. I'd love to do this again. I'd like you to come talk with my groups. And
definitely.
Of course, you know, any classes or simple things, come join me.
Yes.
And we will post your website, petsiview.com, and check out animalwhisperingathome.com. That will redirect you to a registration page where you can take a course and learn how to do this yourself.
Yes, for $37, which is very reasonable. Thank you, Kara. And I think Rita and I are going to be in that course. So,
absolutely.
So much fun. Okay.
It's been a pleasure.
We adore you.
You're welcome back anytime.
Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Yes. Yeah, I'd love to read all of them at a deeper level.
Yeah, we would love that.
You are such a gift. You are such a gift.
As are you. Thank you for helping.
Oh, no,
it's a pleasure. I have to. I'll be remiss. Yeah, I have to do my thank yous. Of course, thank you to Kara and Linda for always being there for me. But I would be remiss if I didn't thank Mark Winter, our producer, owner of Pet Life Radio, who gave us this chance. And just remember, every day is Catter Day. We'll see you next time.
Oh,